dating has almost become torture, right?
So many men come to me and they say, look, I would like to have a partner, but I cannot do one more tedious date when I have to be the best. I have to be this and this and this and that. Oh my God, do you even enjoy going on dates? Most men say that they don't enjoy it anymore. It's different cultural pressure. Guys are basically left alone when it comes to this zone of having so many expectations and so little help. There are very few coaches who actually help men. Wow, I can be myself in front of a woman and not being judged. Wow, that's the first. That feels incredible. We need to try more. We really need to act, not just talk. Talking is nothing. Action is everything. I'm not gonna die if another woman's gonna say no to me. Dating apps are more and more becoming slot machines where you're just like, click, swipe, click, swipe, click, swipe, and it doesn't go anywhere. You need to stop being a nice guy. It's somewhat like meeting a person who is wearing a mask. You don't know what's underneath, and that's what's scary. I would never trust him. I would run away in the opposite direction.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Many Firsts, the podcast where we explore the power of first-time experiences and share transformative and inspirational moments in our lives. I'm your host, Regula Fischer, and I'm super excited to be here today, live in the studio with Lada Kain. Welcome, Lada.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
How has your day been so far?
Oh wow, it's been really exciting because today was my first talk for Mind Valley. So I'm still so wired and so on adrenaline after this talk. But it was amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask any firsts today, but obviously you already answered
Here
the
we
question.
go.
And I'm sure we will dive into more firsts because you are the founder of High Performance Dating, which is a coaching program for men. Men who would like to upgrade their dating experience and the way they connect with women, right? So
yes, here's the thing. When you look at this industry, there are so many ways for women to find help, to upgrade their dating, their lifestyle. There are coaches, there are psychologists, there are groups, they can talk to friends. But when it comes to men, I wouldn't say that I'm the first. I'm definitely not, unfortunately.
Here we would say it's the first because it sounds good, yeah.
Yes, but there are very few coaches who actually help men. And when I realized that the market is open and there are so many opportunities, for me to really make a difference, I got so excited and I found my niche. And by the way, I'm getting more and more and more clients every single day. I see that I'm doing something that's really needed.
What were the firsts that got you to that point to notice that? Were you yourself in the dating experiences that inspired that?
The thing is, I was a model, a fashion model. But at some point, I realized that I wanted to do something more. I want to give back. And I started doing business coaching. So I kind of transformed from a business coach into a dating coach. It took me a moment, but this is so much more fulfilling what I'm doing right now. And I can see that there is real change, real difference when men get to ask all the questions they have, but they didn't have a chance to ask. Because, in day-to-day interactions, it's not so easy for a man to just come up to a woman and say, you know what, I really don't know how to. When we say these words, I don't know how, it somehow makes you a little bit smaller. And men don't like that.
And so how did you learn about that? Is that mostly your own experience and through the work with your clients? Have you studied, obviously, from business to dating? I mean, it's a human thing, right, to date. So we probably all know a little bit about it, but do we even have a common understanding of what dating is,
Yes, I understand what you're talking about. And for me, the first was when I was working with one of my clients for business coaching. And then we were sitting together and he said, you know what? I've never told it to anyone. It's the first for me. But I'm going to confess, I feel like my dating is actually what's directing my success, what's directing my career. Because when I'm unhappy at home, you know, I can't really perform. I come to work and I'm there, but I'm not really there. And that's when I realized that, okay, to be really successful in their career, I need to coach them on their private life as well, maybe to start from their private life. And that's where the shift happened for me. I started to look more and more in that direction, in the direction of their relationships and direction of what's happening in their homes. Actually, do you know that 1 in 3 men today say that they have no close friends? None. So when you start thinking about it, there is a whole field of opportunity to make men's lives better.
So it's actually in that sense even more impressive that client opened up to you, right? And shared that. Do you know what made him feel safe enough, comfortable enough to share that?
I'm not sure I know his particular situation. It was a long time ago, but now I'm working with men every single day. And I know when this transformation happens, when this click happens and they start to trust you. It doesn't happen in one day. Sometimes I have 2-3 sessions and my sessions are long. They're 90 minutes. So for 90 minutes, I have to sit in front of my client and try to find keys to this complex lock with different levels. And when everything gets in place, when everything clicks, they open up and suddenly they're like, wow, I can be myself in front of a woman and not being judged. Wow, that's the first. That feels incredible. But again, it's very individual. I cannot say there is one solution that fits all. So it takes time and patience and understanding. And also my clients, men, have to trust me. They have to believe that no matter what they say, I'm going to be on their side. I'm not going to judge.
It sounds to me a bit like this fear of judgment. I think it's a very human experience also for women, for anyone who is human, I would assume. So if I then imagine, if we are now talking about men dating women, right, in that context, probably both parties have that fear of being judged.
I agree with you. Yes, definitely both parties have this fear, but women are more encouraged to develop emotional intelligence. So for women, it's a little bit easier to get in this vulnerable state and to open up. While men, and I was talking today about this on stage of Mind Valley, men are encouraged to perform, to keep it together, to make things happen. So it's different cultural pressure. And please don't take me wrong, I believe that it's hard for women as well, but we don't really pay attention that guys are basically left alone when it comes to this zone of having so many expectations and so little help.
I think you mentioned today that dating has almost become torture, right? Or performance you also mentioned.
Yes. So many men come to me and they say, look, I would like to have a partner, but I cannot do one more tedious date when I have to be the best. I have to talk about everything. I have to be intellectual. I have to be this and this and this and that. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, if you have so much pressure on yourself, of course you cannot do it. What's even the point? Do you even enjoy going on dates? And most men say that they don't enjoy it anymore. It became not even a game. It became really a work, a tedious work. So it's really sad.
Is that somehow linked to dating apps and that experience?
I think so. I think that it's linked because if you look at the statistics for the dating apps, it's really sad. 1 or 2% of most good-looking, tallest guys, most successful ones, get 60 to 70% of women's attention, of matches, and the rest of them left just wondering what went wrong. And also, dating apps are amazing. They started with this promise to help people meet, but what's happening right now is guys don't know how to what to put in their profiles. The pictures, they're not visual. So the pictures they use are sad. They're not showing even half of their natural qualities. They can't write about themselves. I was talking today about the hero story, about what makes you the person you are today. And no one even thinks about using this, even a little bit. So yeah, it's definitely complicated. It's definitely, dating apps are more and more becoming slot machines where you just like click, swipe, click, swipe, click, swipe, and it doesn't go anywhere, unfortunately.
So are there any kind of practical tips, 1, 2, 3 maybe, that you have as a list, to work through with your clients that you could share?
Oh, wow. There are so many different things, but what I normally start with, as I mentioned before, is your hero story. Because I think everyone needs to understand where they came from, what shaped them as a person, what are their goals, long-term, short-term, doesn't matter, something they believe in, somewhere they want to get. And they need to be able to talk about it like it's something special, like it's a little boy telling his story to a little girl, on this easier, lighter level, not being so serious, not trying to attract or impress. That's the worst thing, that we're all trying to impress. Why? Remember when we were little kids and we were just like running around, being like, do you want to play with me? Yes, no, okay, run. And that was real. And we lost this a little bit. So number 1, I would say, write your hero story. Number 2, connect with your child and try to connect with the child in any person you're meeting, any person you're trying to make contact with. And number 3, more practical. I would say with your pictures on dating apps, try to tell this story. Try to translate this story into visuals. So don't just put pictures where you think you look okay. Put the pictures that show a woman who is she's gonna meet. What is the life you're inviting her in looking like?
That's very beautiful.
Thank
That
you.
sounds like a story to listen to in itself. And how does that work when you work with a client? Do they stay with you? Do you kind of limit the time, or is it like for 3 months, half a year, or is it until a successful date or the wedding happens, or is it open?
It's so individual for everyone. I have clients who worked with me for just 1 month and they met amazing girlfriends and they were like, okay, we're set for life. Everything is perfect. And I was so happy for them. And I have clients who work with me for, I think the longest one is 3.5 years. But in his case, I'd say he's just enjoying my coaching and he takes it as therapy, I think. So it's a long-term support for him. He didn't have a particular goal to meet the partner for life, and it just works, It's work and action and process, it's fluid, and that's another way to use coaching. I still think that coaching is different from therapy. In therapy, you can enjoy it for years and years and it's just getting better. In coaching, we have goals, practical goals and practical solutions. but who am I to stop a person if he thinks that it makes his life better?
Yeah, true. Now, we have been focusing on the men.
Yes.
You're obviously a woman, and women have a part in that, a big part when it's about men who want to date women, right?
Absolutely.
So how do we bring this together? What I know it's not what you're focusing on, but the work that probably women can do, I guess you have some awareness for that as well. In what you're encouraging in men to show, I guess also requires that women change the way they see them, right?
Yes,
to some extent.
It's a very interesting but very triggering topic for a lot of women. Because today, for example, I was talking how women sometimes don't accept male truth. They want men to open up, but when men come to them and they say something about their life, what's going on, their emotions, their needs, their desires, women meet it with a lot of pullback and being like, oh, no, what's going on here? What is he talking about? I can share this one story of one of my clients who came to me and he had certain sexual needs that were a bit outside of the norm. And so he asked me what to do, because every time he tried to share it with his partner, she just didn't want to listen to him. She was running away from it. It was too dark, too dirty, too unconventional for her. So she just blocked him completely. And for men, when they're in this situation, they're trying to be honest, but then they get shut down by their partner. What to do? So they start cheating. And it's a slippery slope, you know? As a woman, are you open enough to hear the truth that is absolutely inconvenient, uncomfortable, and sometimes, frankly, makes you question if you are enough? But the thing is, it's never about you. It's about this other person. It's about your partner. But it's not easy.
It's very powerful what you're sharing. I see when you're describing the role that women have in this, that maybe that's exactly what happened when these men were boys, right? That they were coming with something, and potentially a mother or a women figure would have said, like, be strong, or don't kind of, yeah.
Absolutely. And it's such a big issue, because I understand none of us can be a perfect parent. Sometimes we're just busy, we want to do something, and our kid runs to us and we say, oh, just like sit here for a second, like, yeah, I'm so sorry, just one moment. And our kids figure out that I'm unlovable, she doesn't have time for me, oh my god, maybe I'm being a bad boy, and I don't even need to talk about these things. We cannot catch every single moment like this, and it's so easy, unfortunately, to traumatize our kids. And so then this boy grows up and he's trying to reach out to his partner, and he sees the same reaction. So of course he shuts down. Of course he thinks, okay, better not even to try. And that's why a lot of men, I think, cheat. That's why a lot of men distance themselves. They find their male groups where they can really open up and share things they think women cannot accept.
I can imagine that it's really transformative to open up to a woman, right, when you're coaching. How do you keep the boundaries? I guess I could imagine that it could even mean that clients fall in love or are attracted towards you, right? Is that something that happens, or?
Yes, and this is absolutely normal thing. Clients often transfer their feelings from their loved ones to the therapist or the coach. So this happens really often. But the first time it happened to me, honestly, I was like, okay, I was trained for this, but what do I do now? So I was a little bit nervous. I was not shocked because thank God I was prepared by my coaches, by my professors. They've told me about this, but still that was not really easy to handle. But what I need to remind myself of is that it's not about me. Again, it's about my client. He's living through his feelings, his stories, his situations, and all I can do is to be there for him and to hold space and to remind him that this is professional collaboration and I understand his feelings that are normal, but they're not really feelings towards me. They're feelings towards a female figure who gives him love and understanding he's craving for.
And that's then usually understood, or you,
Not immediately, because we think that we feel what we feel. So, but over time, yes. Over time, they come to understanding that, oh, actually, that was towards my mother, that was towards my partner, that was towards my fantasy perfect female. So,
how has that the work you do influenced your own dating? I'm not sure if you're dating, but I guess it's kind of how do you keep the worlds apart, if at all, or how do you let it influence your own world and experiences?
The thing is, most of my life I've been married. I've divorced a couple of times. And now I feel that, fun fact, men live longer in marriage. Women live less. This is a bit sad fact, but that's a fact. And now I'd say the truth. Now it's very complicated for me to give enough of myself to my relationship when I'm constantly giving parts of myself to my clients. But thankfully, I think I have this life-work balance. And also I learned to separate. I separate Lada as a coach and Lada as a woman. These are two completely different personalities. So as a woman, I allow myself so many things I would never allow myself as a coach. And vice versa. Of course, as a coach, I have boundaries on boundaries on boundaries everywhere. And it's very logical. It's very professional, very career-driven. While as a woman, I'm more fun, wild, joyful.
Thanks for sharing that. How does that all relate, or maybe not, to your first career as a model, right? And then you mentioned business coaching. You studied at Harvard for the coaching, right? So, what inspired that?
Well, my first career was absolutely amazing. It gave me such a strong foundation. Actually, fun fact, I'm still using what I learned as a model in coaching. So, for example, I give my clients 50 no exercise, meaning they need to get out there. They need to approach women, as many as possible. And the goal is not actually to meet someone, not to get their number or their Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever, but to get a no. And this is a rejection exercise I learned as a model. Because when you just started modeling, first thing they do, they send you out to like 15, 20 castings per day. Why? Because after a month, hearing no, 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 no on repeat every single day, you either quit, you realize this business is not for you, it's way too harsh, or you become rejection prone and your self-esteem just goes up so much because you don't care anymore. They said, no, okay, perfect, next. And it sounds cold, but in dating, if you really want to be successful with women, you need to stop being a nice guy, because nice guys get really traumatized by every single rejection they get. And it's impossible to overcome if you don't build this self-esteem coming from understanding that I'm not gonna die if another woman's gonna say no to me. It's okay. We reject each other every single day. So that's how my first career affected my second one.
And obviously you became rejection prone because you stayed for some years, right?
Yes, absolutely. I was modeling for, I think, 15 years. So yeah, now I'm not scared of no's.
Yeah, that for sure helps in business as well, right? Or that boundary or distance to taking something personal or then not in the end.
I mean, look, we're all human. So it is hard to receive rejection. But when you understand that it's really not about you, it's about this other person, and it's always about this other person, either in business or in dating, they just decided that for whatever reason, you are not a good match. They're looking for a different match. Okay, it's not about me. And then it works.
Moving on, it's also, I think, what we hear from, for example, sports people or any kind of people who perform at super high levels, that there's many trials, right? You just keep practicing. And that's also what then leads to the success eventually.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you think about the story of Thomas Edison, who tried one patent after another patent, another invention, and out of hundreds, he became famous just for a few. So we need to try more. We really need to act, not just talk about dating, about love, about career, about whatever you want to achieve. Talking is nothing. Action is everything.
Yeah, that's true. And also dating obviously doesn't happen without acting. It's true.
Yes.
So I don't know if as a model already you would have considered yourself as like self-employed, you would, so you've all your life, you've been your own boss in that sense. Yeah.
I've tried, I worked in corporate world for a little bit, but I don't know. I just prefer to be my own boss. Yeah, it works much better for me.
So you're fine. You as your own boss, you can work with yourself as a boss. Yes, because the other day I heard someone who said, that she was actually her own worst boss for some time. Yeah.
That means this person was just harassing herself, making her work
critical,
more.
Exactly, very critical.
That's really crazy that sometimes we are our worst enemies and we work ourselves to death. I was talking about it with my client just a few days ago. He thinks about dating like it's a job. He's like, no, I have to every day go out there and meet people. I'm like, whoa, chill. It should be more about you enjoying your life, and through doing things you enjoy, meet other people who enjoy the same stuff. That's how it works. It shouldn't be some kind of goal you're chasing and you really work for that. Yes, of course, you need to make certain steps, at least to get out of your house, be open, but don't push yourself like this. Why? What's the point? At the end of the day, we should enjoy our life. That's our one task, one most important task, I think. Love ourselves.
Yeah. How does that work for you when you're engaging with clients? And you said it's a bit tricky at the moment because you're giving so much into that work, right?
Yes.
How do you recharge or balance or navigate moments when maybe you feel you have not so much to give? Does that happen? But you still go professionally into... How do you manage that for yourself?
Well, again, it's very tricky. I'm still navigating this world of keeping the balance because I tend to overwork myself. But I have hobbies. I love skydiving, for example. The first time I've done it, it was wow, mind-blowing experience when I jumped from that plane and just like free fall moments. I think it's just first 10 seconds, 20 seconds, but it gives you so much adrenaline and so much feeling that I'm alive. I can do anything. I'm powerful. I'm free. So hobbies like this, they recalibrate everything. No matter how tired you were, when you jump, forget, it's a different life, it's a new beginning. So I do things like that. I love boxing. That's my big passion. I've been boxing since I was 16, I think, so my whole life. And that also gives me a lot of power, a lot of energy, a lot of desire to continue to keep working, to keep helping people. And also what helps me with my clients, sometimes when I'm exhausted, I start the session and I listen to my clients' stories, and they touch me so deeply that somehow I get the second breath out of nowhere. So it always works.
So the human connection in that. How would you see that? I mean, I'm just thinking, it's hypothetical, but in terms of, we hear that more and more AI is coming into coaching also, right, as a coach. So I'm just wondering right now, hearing about what you do, if that's...
I understand that AI is it's out there. I've been contacted so many times by developers talking about AI girlfriends, AI boyfriends. We're very much in this moment, and it's exciting. But also, first of all, it's not like I don't believe in AI, but I think it's not there yet. It cannot give the same level of understanding, of acceptance, of giving you the right feedback, even in topics less sensitive. AI is making mistakes, a lot of mistakes. And sometimes when you read it, you're like, oh my God, what did you just write? It doesn't even make sense. So how can we truly open up for the machine that is still not exactly perfect? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that me as a human being, I'm perfect, but at least I can connect and I can hold this space where AI might really make a mistake and hurt you. I think we're 5-10 years away from AI being on that level where it can really say, okay, now I can be a perfect AI therapist, a perfect AI coach. And still, lots of my clients are coming to me, not because of my qualifications, not because of how good I coach, but because of me as a person, because they can connect, they can relate. How do you relate to a machine?
Where do you think you learned how to connect? I know there's the professional aspect in coaching, and there's a methodology process, and so on.
And we're talking more about human.
Yeah, but you, Lada, as Lada, the wild one, the adrenaline Lada.
I think, well, my family, definitely. The fact is, best psychologists, best therapists are usually coming from very dysfunctional families. I don't want to say that my family is dysfunctional, but when you grew up in an atmosphere where you always need to read your parents' cues, nonverbal cues, oh, maybe my mom is angry again, maybe she's upset. How do I act now so I am safe? So when you have to constantly, it's like a radar, you know, and it always works 24/7. When you are emotionally not safe, that makes you a perfect empath. So yeah, I know this is not exactly the answer people expect, but that's the truth. And also, if you grow up in a perfect, safe, loving surrounding, perfect, safe, loving family, why would you have a drive to actually achieve something great, something big? Why? You're happy, you're safe, you already have everything. That's usually people who were missing emotional safety, who become great leaders, who become great psychologists, great therapists. So it's all about taking what life gave you and making a lemonade.
Yeah, alchemizing it into
Yeah.
One's own as a benefit, as a
Absolutely.
power,
I'm
superpower.
all about using the worst experience you get in the best way possible. And I think nothing happens really against you or to you. It's happening for you.
Mm-hmm. Would you be okay to share something that you would regard as really kind of bad, and how it...
Absolutely. I was just sharing on stage of Mind Valley. So 2 years ago, I was sexually assaulted. And this is still kind of hard for me to talk about it. But the thing is that this experience really transformed how I see relationships, how I see dating, and how I see men's role in it. Because I have not even realized before how hard it is for men to hold emotional space, emotional container, to be able to understand other people's suffering, other people's pain. So basically what happened after this situation, I was expecting people in my life to reach out, to support me, to talk about it, to acknowledge it, to do something, especially men, you know? And then none of them did anything. It was just like a desert. I was so popular. I was always in the middle of attention with my career and everything. And then, boom, nothing, silence. And I think I was more traumatized, not by the sexual assault, but by this silence afterwards. I didn't understand. I thought I was the victim, and then I got punished even more. For what? What did I do? So I was talking to my therapist, and when I was explaining this, how upset I am with everyone else, not even this poor person who done it to me, he said, look, everyone has their own container of emotions they can handle. Usually, this container is small, but for men, it's even smaller. It's tiny. Because if you think about how men are raised, we're not allowing them to be angry, to scream, to shout, to run around crazy, to express whatever they have inside. We say, be a good boy, just be quiet, sit there like a good boy, you know? So all these emotions, and they have a lot of emotions. I think young boys are even more emotional than girls are. They have to just like smash them all together and put it inside and never get it out. And that's a huge problem, because when these little boys grow up, they become absolutely incapable of understanding other person's pain. They become scared, especially if someone they love gets hurt. They don't know what to do. They feel lost, and they feel even more traumatized than this person. They really prefer to disappear from your life because they don't know what to do, how to do it, how not to hurt you even more. And I think for people who, for the person who even assaulted me, you know, his situation is even worse. Basically, that's the level of an animal who goes down to his primal instincts and who absolutely doesn't have empathy anymore. No empathy, no human emotions, no feelings. And this is even level down. And this is not just my personal pain. This is the problem for the whole society. We need to change the way how we raise boys, because otherwise we're going to end up with this culture of rapists, basically, and emotionally dead men, incapable men. And unfortunately, there are so many influencers nowadays who promote alpha male culture, who capitalize on pushing this toxic masculinity. And this is terrible. This is such a plague for our generation, because so many young boys are left wondering. They really don't know what masculinity is nowadays. So they listen to people like Andrew Tate, for example, and they start thinking that this is masculinity. You get a lot of money, you get a lot of women, and somehow you're happy and successful. But this is being so blind to your own emotions, forgetting who you are as a person, forgetting what connection even is. And this is just sad. So that's what my work is about, to pull men out of this gutter of disconnection from their own selves.
Back to connection. Yeah, you, in that sense, it's a craving. And I see that we hear it also from classrooms, right? That boys are more often seen as the troublemakers than the girls, and then they're told exactly as you said, now sit down, shut up, be the good boy. And
that's so sad, because we are different, we learn in different ways, and we need different things. And somehow girls who are calmer, and in general, when we learn, we just like to sit and pay attention. Boys learn through running around and physical activity, but they don't get to do it. So it's hard for them, and I see how it's very unfair towards men to raise them this way, to basically break their wings and make them fit this little container and then expect that they're going to be emotionally mature. How?
You mentioned the hero's journey as our story as a way to connect, right? Understanding ourselves first. Is there any other way when we're present or connecting with people in general now, not necessarily in a dating situation, something that you would see you have learned from the dating world that we can use basically anywhere and everywhere when it's about connecting with people?
Well, I think a big part of connection with another person is understanding your shadow self. I was also talking about this a little bit, because we have two sides. Our good side, what we push in front, what our mom said is going to make us a good boy or a good girl. So we take this identity, but this identity is not exactly true. We also have a shadow side, everything we try to forget, to push back, to pretend that it doesn't exist, our anger, our jealousy, our what we call negative emotions. By the way, I don't believe in negative emotions. I feel all of the emotions are extremely important and valid. So what happens often, our subconscious always try to bring these two sides into balance. And when it can't, it starts externalizing it. So we look subconsciously for a partner who embodies all our negative qualities. So we meet people who are constantly angry, or liars, or cheaters, or all kinds of abusers, because there are sides of us that we don't accept. So I think relationship is an amazing tool. Dating is an amazing tool to learn more about yourself. Just look at the people you attract, and this is going to tell you so much about what's going on deep inside of you and what you don't like to see. And now there is so much talk about, oh, women hate nice guys, la 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 la. Why we hate nice guys? We don't hate them, but we don't trust them. Why? Because nice guys are basically people who pushed all of their negativity so deep inside that it starts controlling their life, but they don't see it. So it's somewhat like meeting a person who is wearing a mask. You don't know what's underneath, and that's what's scary. If I meet Goody Two Shoes, I would never trust him. I would run away in the opposite direction, because when you suppress anger for so long that you don't let it even slip a little bit, this is truly dangerous. This is what's going on inside of you that you're not even showing it to yourself. So yeah, dating for me is an incredible tool for self-reflection, for understanding who you are, for accepting who you are. Because honestly, anger is okay. Jealousy is okay. Being miserable from time to time is okay. It's not okay to hide all that. It's not okay to pretend that you're perfect and all this negativity doesn't exist, because it does.
It's very interesting and powerful, and it could bring me back to social media, where we often see perfect and everything.
We're all so perfect on social media.
Yeah. So we need to really understand how we can access.
You know, I was thinking about it. How do you show pain, anger, negativity on social media? The second you start doing it, you get banned. That's it.
Oh.
So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting cultural question, first of all. How do we accept ourselves and each other in a better, more healthy way, not just toxic positivity way?
Yeah, and it's probably also about really clearly separating these worlds, right? I mean, be immersed in the human world and connection, and just using social media for some aspects, but not kind of mixing it up too much.
I think so. For me, I just use social media for work mostly. Sometimes I put a glimpse or two of my private life, but nothing too much, because at the end of the day, it's distracting, and I cannot be fully honest there.
Yeah.
Because again, when I cry my eyes out, I don't even think about, posting about it, like, oh, look, I'm in suffering. That's weird. That's not really what we do. Maybe I should. Maybe that will be my next first.
Yeah, it's so funny, because I wanted to ask you, what's the first that you would like to create? So here we go, because I do think, what you mentioned about, would I even think of doing it? But then you mentioned it's not what we do. We just don't do it because we don't see others do it. And what if others did it? Would we then also kind of think of it? Or maybe even shortly afterwards, right? Once we kind of recover or calm down from something, while the emotion is still fresh, kind of sharing that. I'm curious to see.
I'm excited to try. Let's see.
Well, that would be really, really courageous first, I would say. So, yeah, keep us posted on that one.
I'm unfortunately too happy. Everything is well. God. Okay.
It's probably not going to happen today, but
who knows?
Yeah.
You never know. Life is up and down all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Kind of makes me think again of you skydiving up and down skies.
Yeah, it's again, that's one of the best experiences. And when my clients ask me, when they feel in a rut that nothing is changing, I always recommend go do at least one time skydiving. It's gonna change how you see this life. And you know what it teaches you? It teaches you to be in the moment. Because when you're flying, nothing exists. It's all about this moment right here and right now. And also in dating, I think that's what we're missing. We go on dates and we are now ahead. We're in yesterday or tomorrow. What's going to happen? How are the kids? What am I going to do? My career, this and that. Come back to the moment, because the moment is everything we have. Nothing else exists.
That's a very beautiful, we could say, final word, but I still want to ask you, is there anything else you would like to share, make sure as a message?
I think we've talked about so much today. We've talked about so many firsts, and that was truly incredible. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk about such important and deep topics. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. If you liked today's episode, it would mean the world to us if you like it, share it with anyone who could need a boost in courage. And we would also like to hear from you. What are your reflections after listening to this conversation? Share them with us in the comments, and let's keep creating powerful, intentional firsts together. We'll see you next first time, maybe flying down from the skies. Until then, much love and courage. Ciao.